Okay, so in the last class we had discussed about the variation of conductivity and molar conductivity with decrease in concentration, right? Adul, can you explain what happens to the conductivity with decrease in concentration?
Conductivity decreases.
What about its reason?
So the number of ions per unit volume will decrease.
Okay, very good. Then Achyut, what about molar conductivity? How it varies with decrease in concentration?
Molar conductivity increases
Mm.
with decrease in concentration.
Okay, then Dia, which are the two factors that affect this molar conductivity?
Length and area or volume.
Which one?
Length and area or volume.
The recent equation lambda m is equal to kV. Then what all factors in that equation?
As concentration decreases and increases with decrease of concentration.
That means conductivity and volume are the two factors, right? And the conductivity will decreases with decrease in concentration and volume will increases with decrease in concentration. That's why the this conductivity, that means molar conductivity increases with decrease in concentration. So all of you please switch on your videos. Okay, then we have learned one equation that relates this conductivity, molar conductivity and this concentration, right? Then we just plot a graph of concentration versus molar conductivity. From this graph onwards, we can determine two factors. One thing that already understood from the figure, that is limiting molar conductivity, lambda m0. That is a y-intercept, right? The straight line that joins at the y-axis, it is known as y-intercept. So from the graph, the point at which the straight line touches the y-axis, it is known as y-intercept, and from that value we can obtain the limiting molar conductivity. Okay, so you can write there the y-intercept, that is equal to lambda m0, that is the limiting molar conductivity. We are just extending this graph towards y-axis, and whenever it is spotted, it is limiting molar conductivity lambda m0, that is known as y-intercept. And from this straight line we can also obtain the value of minus a. Can you guess from which method we can determine this value of minus a from this graph? Can you tell me? There are straight lines here. Then from any idea? Anyone? Concentration and molar conductivity are plotted, and this limiting molar conductivity also obtained from the y-intercept. Then what about this minus a? Can you guess? Anyone? Nandana, can you tell me? Yeah, its slope is minus a. Okay, its slope. You can learn like this, right? And the slope, it is calculated as minus a. And it's a constant value. It will be same for a particular type of electrolytes. Okay, so from this graph, we can draw a slope. And this value can be obtained from this x-axis. Then the next, this value is obtained from y-axis. And the slope, it is equal to minus a. Okay, it's a constant and it will be same for a particular type of electrolytes. So these two values also we can obtain from this graph. Clear? All of you. Please switch on your videos. The next one we are moving to an important law. It is known as Kohl-Rash's law. Okay, Kohl-Rash's law of independent migration of ions. Kohl-Rash's law of independent migration of ions. So we have only learned about the conductivity of strong electrolytes, right? So this Kohl-Rash's law, it will be very helpful to know about the molar conductivity of weak electrolytes. First we can state this law. The law states that the limiting molar conductivity of an electrolyte at infinite dilution means zero concentration. The law states that the limiting molar conductivity of an electrolyte at infinite dilution, it is equal to the sum of the molar ionic conductivities of the cations and anions at infinite dilution. So according to this law, it was introduced by Kohl-Rash. That's the name of the scientist. That's why it is known as Kohl-Rash's law. It's also known as Kohl-Rash's law of independent migration of ions. The law states that the limiting molar conductivity of an electrolyte at infinite dilution, that means at zero concentration, it is equal to the sum of the molar ionic conductivities of cations and anions at infinite dilution. What do you mean by cation and anion? Rijas, which one is cation, positive ion or negative ion?
Negative.
Cation.
Negative.
Is it negative?
Positive.
Yeah, it's positive. You have to do not confuse with the cathode, anode, cation, anion. Okay, cathode, it is negative. Anode, it is positive. In the case of ions, it's just opposite. Cation, it's positive, and anion, it is negative. So this is the law, and this is the equation of this law. Okay, lambda m0, that is equal to, this one is read as nu. Okay, nu. Are you familiar with this one? Okay, nu plus, then lambda 0 plus, that means these are the factors of cation. Then the next one is nu minus, then lambda 0 minus. This one is for anion. So the lambda
Mu or
plus, yes Achyut?
Mu or Nu?
Nu. Mu is, this one is mu, m, starts with m, and this one is nu. Okay. So this is the equation, lambda m0, that is equal to nu plus lambda plus 0 plus nu minus lambda minus 0. This lambda plus 0 and lambda minus 0, they are the molar conductivities of cations and anions. and at respectively at infinite dilution. The 0 is there, right? Lambda 0, that means it is in maximum dilution or at 0 concentration. Okay, so the molar conductivities of cations and anions respectively at infinite dilution, that means at 0 concentration. And this nu plus and nu minus are the number of cations and anions from a formula unit of electrolyte. So in the case of NaCl, you can tell me it's an example for an electrolyte. Which one is the cation? Which one is the cation? Emmanuel, which one is the cation from NaCl?
Na.
Yes, Na plus, right? Na plus and Cl minus, it is the anion. So here you have to write down the molar conductivity at infinite dilution of sodium and chlorine, and the number of cations and anions, here it is 1. Because the charge of Na is 1 and the charge of Cl minus is 1. So only 1 cation and 1 anion is there. So we can rewrite this equation as lambda m0, that is equal to nu 0 of Na plus Cl minus. Okay. If there are more than one cation or anion, you have to also add that one. Okay, as coefficient you have to add here, it is 2 or 3, like that. So that's about Kohl-Rash's law. The law states that the limiting molar conductivity of an electrolyte at infinite dilution, it is equal to the sum of the molar ionic conductivities of the cations and anions at infinite dilution. So the lambda m0, that is equal to nu plus lambda plus 0 plus nu minus lambda minus 0. This lambda plus 0 and lambda minus 0, they are the limiting molar conductivities of cations and anions. Or you can also write molar conductivities of cations and anions at infinite dilution. Then the nu plus and nu minus, they are the number of cations and anions from a formula unit of the electrolyte. This is clear? Have we completed?
Yes.
Okay. Then we are moving to the applications of this Kohl-Rash's law. Applications of Kohl-Rash's law. The first one is to calculate the lambda m0 of the weak electrolytes. In the previous case, that means in the case of strong electrolytes, using that graph we can directly observe that limiting molar conductivity, right? By the extrapolation of that graph, and at the y-intercept we can note down the value of limiting molar conductivity lambda m0. But in the case of weak electrolytes, we cannot measure or observe that lambda m0 from its graph, that we can learn later. So this Kohl-Rash's law will be helpful to calculate the lambda m0 of weak electrolytes. Then the second one, to calculate the degree of dissociation of weak electrolytes. What do you mean by the degree of dissociation? That means the amount of dissociation or amount of splitting of that electrolyte into its ions. That is the degree of dissociation. So to calculate the degree of dissociation of this weak electrolytes, this Kohl-Rash's law can be applied. And the equation is alpha, that's the degree of dissociation, that is equal to lambda m by lambda m0. Alpha, that is the degree of dissociation of weak electrolyte, that is equal to lambda m by lambda 0 m. Lambda m by lambda 0 m. That is the second application. First one, to calculate the limiting molar conductivity of weak electrolytes. Then the second one, to calculate the degree of dissociation of weak electrolytes. That is alpha is equal to lambda m by lambda m0. Then the third application, to determine the dissociation constant of weak electrolyte. To determine the dissociation constant of weak electrolyte. And there is another equation for that, Ka. You can write this A as subscript, okay? Ka, that is equal to C alpha square divided by 1 minus alpha. This is the equation to find out the dissociation constant. Z alpha square divided by 1 minus alpha. C stands for concentration, then alpha is the degree of dissociation. Okay. So this is the equation to calculate the dissociation constant of weak electrolyte. And this equation we can also write it as Z. Okay, Z. Then instead of alpha, you can write lambda m by lambda 0 m, right? Lambda m by lambda 0 m. So you can write here it is alpha square. So lambda m square divided by lambda m 0 square. Here again it is 1 minus alpha. Then instead of alpha, here also you can write 1 minus lambda m by lambda 0 m. Is this clear? Instead of alpha, we just substitute this equation. Okay. Instead of alpha, we just substitute the equation 1, and lambda alpha is equal to lambda m by lambda 0 m. Here it is alpha square. That's why it becomes lambda m square divided by lambda m 0 square. And here 1 minus alpha, this alpha can also be substituted by lambda m by lambda 0 m. Then we can rewrite this equation Z lambda m square divided by lambda 0 m square, and here we can cross multiply lambda 0 m minus lambda m divided by lambda 0 m. Clear? Then we can cancel certain values, right? This lambda 0 m and its square can be cancelled. Then the equation becomes Z into lambda m square divided by lambda 0 m into lambda 0 m minus lambda m. This is also another equation to find out this dissociation constant. Okay. So these three are the main applications of Kohl-Rash's law. And this Kohl-Rash's law is mainly applied for weak electrolytes. Okay. First application, it is to calculate the limiting molar conductivity of weak electrolytes. It is to calculate the lambda m0 of weak electrolyte. Then the second one, to calculate the degree of dissociation of weak electrolytes. That is alpha is equal to lambda m by lambda m0. Then the third one is to determine the dissociation constant of weak electrolyte. And the equation Ka is equal to, K is the dissociation constant, that is equal to C alpha square divided by 1 minus alpha. Then we substitute lambda m by lambda m 0 for the alpha, and the equation becomes z lambda m square divided by lambda m 0 square into 1 minus lambda m by lambda 0 m. Then we can cross multiply these values in the bracket, and the lambda 0 m and here it is cancelled, and the final equation becomes Ka is equal to z lambda m square divided by lambda 0 m into lambda m minus lambda 0 m minus lambda m. Okay, is this clear? Yes or no? Tell me, do you have any doubt? Nothing. Okay, then we can move to the next topic, that is the variation of molar conductivity with concentration for weak electrolytes. Variation of molar conductivity with concentration for weak electrolytes. Okay, in the case of this weak electrolytes, the change in lambda m, that means the increase in molar conductivity, it is due to the increase in the degree of dissociation. I told you that the amount of ions produced from an electrolyte, it is known as degree of dissociation. So it is due to the increase in the degree of dissociation and consequently increase in the number of ions. If there is more degree of dissociation, that means more number of ions are produced there, right? So the total volume of solution that contains 1 mole of electrolyte. Here this molar conductivity lambda m increases steeply on dilution, especially near lower concentration. So this molar conductivity, it will increases with dilution, that means on reducing this concentration, this molar conductivity, it will increases steeply. You can observe it in the graph, right? Here it is in a constant value, and when the concentration is too much lowered, it will increases steeply, right? Okay, so here in the case of weak electrolytes also, this molar conductivity increases, but it is due to the factor that degree of dissociation. Due to this degree of dissociation, the number of ions produced is also increases. That's why the molar conductivity increases steeply on dilution, especially near the lower concentration. And I told you that limiting molar conductivity, we cannot obtain it from the graph. Here in the graph, it is moves constantly, then it's steeply increasing. It does not touch anywhere in this y-axis, right? That means the variation of molar conductivity with concentration, it's very large. So we cannot obtain the molar conductance at infinite dilution by the extrapolation of graph. If we extrapolate this graph, it will just goes upwards. That's it, right? It will not touch anywhere in this y-axis. So we cannot directly obtain the value of this limiting molar conductivity from the graph. That's why we are using this Kohlrausch's law to find out this limiting molar conductivity. Clear? Variation of molar conductivity with the concentration for the weak electrolytes. So here you have to note this point, due to the degree of dissociation, this increase in concentration, that means increase in molar conductivity occurs. Degree of dissociation, it's the factor, and due to this increase in degree of dissociation, more number of ions are produced. The amount of cations and anions will increases in the total volume of solution that contains 1 mole of electrolyte. So here the molar conductivity increases steeply on dilution. That means at lower concentration, the molar conductivity will increases. And this variation of molar conductivity with the concentration, it's very large, so we cannot obtain this molar conductivity directly from the extrapolation of graph. That's why we are choosing this Kohlrausch's law to find out the limiting molar conductivity, then the degree of dissociation, then the dissociation constant. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes.
what is extrapolation?
That means extending. That's it. When this is a graph, we can extend this graph. It is known as extrapolating. Okay, extrapolating towards the y-axis. Here also we are plotting this z raised to 1 by 2 or root c. That means concentration. And here it is lambda m. You can also write the units. Okay, in the case of concentration, it is moles per liter, and this molar conductivity is Siemens meter square per mole. Here we are taking this CH3COH, acetic acid. It's an example for a weak electrolyte. In the previous case, do you remember which are electrolytes that we chosen as strong electrolytes?
HCl and KCl.
Very good. HCl and KCl, they are strong electrolytes, and here acetic acid, it's a weak electrolyte. That's why the graph becomes like this. Constant value, then it will steeply increased. Have you completed? Then there is one graph in your textbook. Yes or no?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Shivani. Then you can finish it. Yes,
I'm finished.
finished. Okay. Then there is one graph in your textbook, page number 81. That's a graph in which both the strong electrolyte and weak electrolyte is represented. Can you see that? Here also the same things are plotted. Here it is concentration, that means C raised to 1 by 2 or root C. Okay, and in the y-axis it is lambda m. Then you can draw both this strong electrolyte and weak electrolyte in the same graph. In the case of strong electrolyte, its points will be like this. Okay, so we can extrapolate this graph towards y-axis, and that point is known as lambda m0, limiting molar conductivity. Okay, so you can write here KCl is an example for a strong electrolyte. Then in the case of weak electrolyte, the graph becomes like this. On decreasing the concentration, it will increase steeply, but the extrapolation of graph is not possible. Here you can write CH3COH, acetic acid, as an example. And here its unit is mole per liter, and here it is Siemens meter square mole inverse. Then there are some problems that is related to this Kohlrausch's law that we can discuss in the next class. Okay? That to calculate the molar limiting molar conductivity of weak electrolytes. Certain examples are given in the page number 84. That we can discuss in the next class. Okay? So, in today's class we have learned the variation of this conductivity and molar conductivity with concentration. Do you have any doubt in any topic? Anyone? First we have learned the variation of conductivity with decreasing concentration, right? The variation of conductivity with decrease in concentration. Then we have learned the variation of molar conductivity with decrease in concentration. Then in the case of strong electrolytes and weak electrolytes, we can determine the limiting molar conductivity. We have already learned the limiting molar conductivity. Then in order to find out the limiting molar conductivity of weak electrolytes, it will not directly obtained from the graph. For that purpose, we are just using this Kohlrausch's law. And another applications of this Kohlrausch's law to find out the degree of dissociation, to find out the dissociation constant, along with the limiting molar conductivity of weak electrolytes. Okay? Is this clear for you? All of you? Yes? Okay, Anna, what do you mean by this limiting molar conductivity? Your voice is not clear. Can you say it little more louder?
Okay now.
Oh, okay.
If dilution is continuous, molar conductivity reaches the maximum limiting value. Then concentration reaches zero.
No, it's not clear for me. It's okay, Anna. Sania, can you tell me? All of you please switch on your videos.
If the dilution is continued, the molar conduction it reaches the maximum value and then the concentration approaches zero.
Yes.
The molar conduction is known as
Limiting molar conductivity. Okay. How can we find out the limiting molar conductivity of strong electrolytes? Srihari, can you please switch on your video? Srihari, Aryan, Naurin, Adul, Gauri, Nandana, Krishna, Anthony, Ashwin, Michael, Nia. Srihari, can you hear me? Anthony,
Yes, ma'am.
can you tell me how can we find out the limiting molar conductivity of strong electrolytes from a graph? Okay, Srihari. Yes.
For weak electrolytes.
For strong electrolytes.
That's change. The change in.
How can we find out the limiting molar conductivity from the graph? Lambda m0.
And ma'am, that one I didn't.
Just by extrapolating that graph, it will reach somewhere at the y-axis. It is known as y-intercept. Okay, that value is the limiting molar conductivity of strong electrolytes. Okay? Okay. Then from the graph, what do that slope indicates, Gauri?
Minus A.
Yeah, what do you mean by this minus A?
Constant for a
Say constant. Okay. And it will be same for a particular type of electrolytes. Okay. Then how can we determine the limiting molar conductivity of weak electrolytes? Vidur? Can we obtain it from graph? Yes or no?
Then the lambda will
Hmm.
increase.
How can we determine that? Is it from the graph? By the extrapolation of graph? The value of limiting molar conductivity can be calculated. Yes or no?
Extrapolation of the graph
In the case of weak electrolytes,
we cannot obtain.
yes, we cannot obtain that. Extrapolation of graph, we cannot obtain that value. Then how can we find out that value, limiting molar conductivity? There is one law related to that. What was that?
Kohl-Roche law.
Kohl-Rash's law. Then what do you mean by this Kohl-Rash's law, Punya?
Kohl-Rash's law states that the limiting molar conductivity of an electrolyte at infinite dilution is equal to the sum of ionic conductivity of cations and anions at infinite dilution.
Okay. It is the sum of the molar ionic conductivities of the ions present in that solution. Then what are the applications of this Kohl-Rash's law? Nandana?
To calculate the limiting molar conductivity of weak electrolytes,
Yes.
calculate the degree of dissociation of weak electrolytes, and to determine the dissociation constant of weak electrolytes.
Okay. Then what's the equation to find out the degree of dissociation, Gauri?
Alpha is equal to lambda m by lambda 0.
Okay. Then what about the equation to find out the dissociation constant, Achyut?
P alpha square by 1 minus x.
Okay, okay, fine. So all of you please read this portion for the next class. Okay? And then let me take your attendance. Aditya, present, right? Achyut, present. Alvin. Alvin. Anna, present. Aryan, present. Ashwin, present. Adul, present. Diya, present. Donna.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Evelyn. Evelyn. Gayatri present, Gauri present, Emmanuel present, Krishna present, Lydia.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Malavika. Yes. Meenakshi. Meenakshi absent. Mehak absent. Michael present. Muhammad Adim. Absent. Nandana present. Nevin. Nevin. Okay, Nevin absent. Nidhi. Nidhi absent. Nia. Absent. Naurin Fatima.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Punya present. Rijas present. Sania.
Present,
Sania.
ma'am.
Yes. Sharon. Sharon. Then Shivani present. Srihari present. Steffi absent. Anthony present. Bidur present. Okay, children. So all of you please read this portion very well. Okay. Then we can discuss the remaining portion in the next class and also certain problems of Kohl-Rash's law. Okay. Okay, then thank you all. See you in the next class. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.